It's the night before a big exam. You've been studying for weeks, but now, as you sit at your table, you realize that there's still so much more yet to cover. Panic sets in. Sounds familiar? I've been there too, and I know how overwhelming it can feel. But what if I told you there are study techniques which can make learning more efficient and less stressful? Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Jeevi Shruti, and today let's delve deep into this topic. Study technique number 1, active recall. This technique is all about testing you on the material you've learned rather than passively rereading your notes. So here's how this works. After you read a chapter or a section, close your book and try to write down or recite everything you remember. After this, try solving a couple of questions without turning into the material once again. This method forces your brain to retrieve information and strengthens your memory and thus makes it easier to recall during exams. And also, studies have shown that retrieval itself improves learning and retention far more effectively than passive review methods. For instance, if you're studying anatomy, instead of just reading about the parts of the heart, try drawing a diagram and label it from your memory. This active engagement helps solidify both your memory and understanding. Study technique number 2, spaced repetition. This technique involves reviewing your material after increasing intervals. It leverages the psychological spacing effect where information is better retained when study sessions are spaced out over time. Instead of cramming it all at once, try reviewing your material periodically. For instance, if you are learning something new today, review it tomorrow, then after a few days, then after a week, and so on. This time interval can be altered based on how well you know the material. This helps move information from short-term to long-term memory, making it easier to retain information. It also makes study sessions more efficient as you're now focusing on material that needs more reinforcement. Study technique number 3, the Feynman principle. This technique is named after the brilliant physicist Richard Feynman, which involves teaching the things which you have learned to someone else or even to your own self. Start by writing down the thing you need to learn as if you're explaining it to a child. Break it down to basic principles and avoid use of jargon. If you get stuck, go back to your source material and study it carefully until you can explain it clearly. Simplifying complex ideas helps you to understand concepts deeply. It also helps you to identify the gaps of knowledge and clarifies the concepts that you might have thought you understood but didn't. So if you're studying cellular biology, try to explain the process of cellular respiration step by step in simple language. It not only solidifies your understanding, but also makes it easier to recall it during your exams. Finally, moving on to study technique number 4, the Pomodoro technique. This is a time management technique that breaks your study time into intervals, typically 25 minutes of focused study followed by a 5-minute break. Set the timer for 25 minutes and focus solely on your study task. When the timer goes off, take a break of 5 minutes. Repeat this process for 4 times and take a longer break of 15 to 30 minutes. This time interval can be based on what works best for you. The Pomodoro technique helps maintain high levels of focus and prevents from burnout by giving your brain regular intervals of rest. It also makes daunting study sessions feel more manageable by breaking them into smaller chunks. If you are preparing for an exam, use the Pomodoro technique to study one subject at a time. Use the 5-minute break to stretch, hydrate, or do something relaxing to recharge you before the next session. These techniques are just a few of the many study techniques present out there, but are so far the most efficient ones. Active recall, spaced repetition, the Feynman technique, and the Pomodoro technique help you transform your study habits and will definitely help you ace those exams. But remember, it is not how much time you spend studying, but how efficiently you use that time to study. Because quality is always more important than quantity. Thank you all for joining me today. If you found those techniques useful, do comment, like, and share. And don't forget to smash that subscribe button. Until next time, keep learning, stay curious, and let's conquer those academic challenges together. Bye.